This is Johnnie with a segment of Excuse Me, Mind Your Business as you mind the business of your life. Today's segment is so amazing. It was from Aspiring Authors Mastermind that I did, and I just want to share this with you, our viewers. It's for people who desire to write, for those who are in the middle of their process, and for those who have maybe already finished the work but have not published it. So again, enjoy Aspiring Authors Mastermind. Before you start writing, there are some things you need to consider. You need to start with the end in mind. Because when you start with the end in the mind, what happens is you set up the book, you set up the work in such a way that it's going to, you're going to do all of what you need to make sure that it ends up being what you desire. For an example, if you want to do a novel, it's very different than writing any other type of book. And then you need to know your why. Why are you writing the book? Because the why will help you understand the type of format, your audience, and how. The why will help you know how to write it. And that's part of those are big keys into your next steps of what to do. And then that will link you to how you want to publish. Now, this class specifically is going to be directed at people who desire to self-publish. Now, I'm not going to go into commercial publishing a lot, even though I know a lot about that. So at the end, if you have questions and that's the route you want to take, I can provide you some information regarding that. The next thing is, when you're writing, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to be able to gather information. And it's just like when you're looking at writing, you're going to end up, whether you do it through a journal method, where you sit down and you just journal and write, or you go on your, I recommend that most people do it online, especially if you like to type. And then I'm going to give you a couple templates that you can use to put the book in that format, so that you will have that, so you will be able to start from that direction. If you are a physical writer, you love to write like script writing, then what you'll do is I recommend that you get a couple notebooks and then you just download, because it's about gathering the information. It's like a puzzle. You gather the information and then you'll start assembling it based on, remember, the end, what you desire the book to look like. So what I tell people is this, is that if you don't, even though you think you know how the chapters are going to be set up, don't give it a chapter title. I mean, a chapter, like we call it chapter 1, chapter 2. Give it a name. And then you can move it around in any direction that you want it to be in. Because as you write, what's going to happen is it's going to start flowing in a direction. And you normally end up with more information than what you thought. So in a book is not, it goes beyond being for you. If it's for a reader, that back to your why. If some people have written books strictly for them, if that's what you're going to do, then that's easier. You don't need 50,000 copies of it. You just need a few copies, and say that you're an author. Because remember this, once you are published, whether one person or 10 million people buy the book, you're still an author. Do you get what I'm saying? So if a person is doing it and they desire the credibility and accountability from being an author, then you become an author after you're published. Okay? And then one of the other, and this is a tip, is if you're only going to do an ebook, a Kindle, all of that, you don't even need an ISBN number. So that's going to save you $100 right there. You don't need an ISBN number if all you're going to do is do an ebook. Most people will tell you something different, but the fact of the matter is, you don't need to waste that $100 that I wasted. Okay? So that's why we're here. I don't want you to waste your money. Don't do it. So make sure you do that. So remember, there's about assembling, and then after you gather all the information. A lot of people get caught up in this space because it doesn't like it has a form, but don't get caught up. Just pour. Just pour out the information, and then do it in a way that you can move it around, and you can put it in the puzzle together at the end or near the end. Now, in the end, you're going to find that you're going to have some extra pieces that are not going to go in this work. Okay? So don't freak out. It's going to be okay. You're going to have too much information. You can say too much, okay? But you want to start off with too much so that when you start paring it down, you'll have what's important and what's connected to your end goal. So I'm gonna give you some tips right now. So what I want you to do is I want you to schedule a time to write. Now, most people say, that don't work for me. No, seriously, schedule a time to write. If you have a family or whatever, make it early, make it late, schedule a time to write, and schedule a location. Now, then you'll deal with the other part that I call is disruptions. Because something's going to come up in your life and it's going to try to pull that time from you. So deal with your disruptions because they're going to happen. Don't freak out about it, but make sure you schedule a time to write, because writing needs to be intentional in order to get it accomplished. Otherwise, you'll be writing on your work for the next 10 years. Okay? So it's important, if you want to get it done in either 12 weeks or 12 months, that you set aside some time to do it. We talked a little bit about gathering the information. You're going to gather a lot of information, and it's going to be okay. Then you need to decide if you're doing a novel, because not all of us are writing leadership books or things of that nature where it's informational. Some people are writing novels. And if you're writing a novel, there are some specific things that you need to know for writing a novel, and you need to make sure that you align to that. So it's very important that you know the type of book that you're writing. Now, the other thing is you want to gather information continuously. What will happen is you will write something, and you'll start putting things in chapters. You'll start reading it, and you'll say, oh, I forgot this. I forgot that. I forgot that. This needs to go in there too. So double space and start adding things as you do it. Don't be scared. It's going to be too much information, and then you'll pare it down. Just keep on doing it. At some point, you got to stop adding information. At some point, you got to just say no. You got to say no. It's going to be in version 2.0. Because if you don't, you'll never stop. You will never publish if you don't come to a place or a timeline that you said, I'm going to have it done by this time. And that's why having a coach, having a mentor, having a writing buddy or something is so important, because you should be pushing each other and holding each other accountable to the timeline, okay? So now build an outline. Once you start, after you gather, you want to have an outline because you want to know what your intentions are. For an example, I'm writing one now on the insanity of self-sabotage. On that one, I've been writing this book for 5 years. I just want y'all to know. So I'm going to be guilty first. Okay, I'm guilty, okay? I've been writing the book for 5 years. However, this is a critical point, and I'm forcing myself, I'm taking a break, and I'm forcing myself to finish it. Because at some time, you got to deliver the baby. Because if you don't deliver your child, which is this project, it's going to rot and hurt you on the inside, because you'll keep on looking at an opportunity to do it, and it never will happen. So I'm forcing myself. I'm eating my own great information. I'm forcing myself to take 4 days, and I'm going to take some time to physically sit down and put these 15,000 pages in some kind of order so that I can start filling in the outline. An outline is only a guide, okay? It's not to restrict you, it's to provide you information. Okay? So you build an outline and know that it may change, the order may change, but don't get upset with that. Don't get caught up in that. And then, again, and I'll talk a little bit more about it, is make sure if you start quoting other people, that you make sure that you give them credit. Okay? So the next thing we're going to talk about is how to prepare the manuscript part. So it's like building a house. So the first thing you want to do is lay the foundation, which is all the information, the concrete, all of that stuff. You want to put the rebarb in it. You want to do all the things for the foundation so it's sturdy. And then you start determining where the rooms are and all of that. But you normally do the outside structure and start building on the inside. So do your outside structure of your plan for your manuscript and then start filling the rooms.